Hello everyone and welcome to Solshow, and today we are reviewing Netflix's own Violet Evergarden. And as you can guess by the title of this show is an anime starring a girl named Violet Evergarden, and she is a 14-year-old girl who is pretty much like a solo cyborg-esque machine, not really a machine, but she has robot arms, war fighter thing. I don't know what the fuck she is. I honestly thought she was a robot for like the first couple episodes, but it turns out that is not the case. Violet just happens to be a little girl who is really good at killing people, so they took her for this war that was going on in the early part of the century in Europe. I don't know which one, you can probably guess. And this story takes place in very early century Europe, so if you can guess what was going on around that time, they had a lot of use for killing machines. So they took her, they used her, and then they discarded her after the war was over, as wars typically are after a while. They just kind of kicked her to the side, and she was like, man, I am a robot young girl who doesn't know what to do with my robot arms, and I'm stuck here not knowing how life works. I don't have a job. Maybe someone could get one for me. And that's exactly what happens. She is given a job as a woman, as a 14-year-old girl who is now going to travel the world writing letters for people who, like, you know, it's a different time. People may not know how to read or write, and also some people just want, for example, there's a guy who's like writing a novel, there's people translating things. People have use for just little girls who can type out on a typewriter. But I need to get this rant out of the way. Why the fuck is Violet Evergarden 14-year-old girls? This is worse than any Disney fake age number. This is worse than all the other animes and video games I've ever played. This is not a 14-year-old. She looks like she could be 27. She, in the story, is spoken to like an adult. She is doing adult things. She is looked up to by children who are probably like 10 or 12, and it's not like a huge age gap. She's being motherly to children. Why? Alright, that's not super important, so let's not focus on that. Let's talk about the fact that this show is visually stunning. This is one of the best looking shows I've ever seen. All the characters look like they went through some kind of anime car wash, and they're just sparkling all over the place. You can't look at these characters' faces without being like, damn, I want that for a desktop background. But the story here, again, follows Violet going from kind of character to character. It's almost like a character of the week kind of show, but it breaks off of that path enough times that you probably won't call it that. You really start to develop feelings for these characters, and you really start to get into the headspace of Violet and really see her more from this robot-esque, lifeless character to someone who really, you start to understand their lack of empathy and kind of turn that around into its own narrative. The show has a lot going on for it. And I think it got hyped up really well, and because it's on Netflix, everyone can watch it. A lot of people watch this show. It is a very popular show, and it was rated really highly too. That being said, I don't think I like it as much as some other people. I didn't cry. I didn't, like, bust out the box of tissues every single episode like people are saying. There's a couple things that held me back watching the show. The first couple episodes, Violet is very hard to relate to, and a lot of the other side characters at that point aren't really developed, and there's a lot of scenes that are just kind of obnoxious. There are scenes where, like, the music is playing so loudly I can't even hear the characters, and I feel like they're just trying to make me, like, buy this aesthetic before I can even, like, buy the characters. And a lot of the art and everything, it just feels wasted on, like, scenes that, like, don't really matter, or characters who aren't going to be utilized. But when you get into the heart of this show, that's where things really start to, you know, really intensify. I really thought this was going to be like a 6 out of 10 show for me, like it would be nice to look at and that's it. But this show really caught me off guard a couple times. It really just kind of ripped me out of my lifeless soul of the body and reminded me what emotions are, which is kind of like a big theme of the show, so that's kind of funny. And it really seemed to kind of have a narrative and a discussion about war, post-war. I think that is like a much more easy to discuss and much more like upbeat kind of silver lining story than actual war, so I will take that any day. I just think the tone and pacing of the show kind of held it back because the whole show seems to kind of have this like, oh, feel awe, feel sad, feel all these different things. And I don't like it when shows are just constantly trying to make me feel like emotions that aren't like fully justified. Like people are crying every fucking episode of this show multiple times it feels like, and after a while I'm just kind of sitting there like, yeah, it's sad. I don't know if it's that sad. However, don't get me wrong, this is a good show. It really had amazing moments, and those moments are really what you're going to remember. And the character designs, especially on Violet, are really great. And not only that, a lot of the bigger moments, they look so good, and a lot of the filler stuff, it looks so good, and a lot of the parts I don't care about, it still looks really amazing, so it doesn't fucking matter. It looks great, and it has great moments, and sometimes that's all you need. I really like the show. Is it like a 10 out of 10 masterpiece? I don't think so at all, but some people, I can see why they would have that opinion, and I will allow them to have that opinion and nod my head from the sidelines. As for my own opinion, I'm going to give Violet Evergarden a 7 out of 10. Anyway guys, that is today's anime review. I will see you with the next one, and until next time, thank you for watching, and with that, I leave you.